Okay, hello internet people, this is Wilfred Lee, and before we start this show, I'm just going to do some advertising as usual. Just letting you guys know that our show and podcast is brought to you by Onnit. Yes, I do play the keys once in a while.
Okay.
It's been a while. If you go like this, you can see how long I didn't play for.
I can see that.
Yeah, so
For real.
what's up everybody? Welcome to The Artist Journey. I'm your host Wilfred Lee, and today I'm here with a very special guest, the one and only JoshRoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Good, man.
Good to see you.
Glad to be here.
I've been waiting for a while, and I'm happy that you're here. We have a lot to talk about. Just before you came here, you just mentioned that you just checking out the stuff, and you actually majored in art.
Yeah.
Really, right on. So, what did you major in exactly? Like, fine arts or?
I majored in fine arts.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, that was the first 2 years at university.
Mhm.
I majored in it's called a DES, Diploma Education Secondary.
Cool.
Well, that meant I was studying to be an art teacher
Oh yeah.
of high school.
Okay.
High school art teacher.
Uh-huh.
Then I upgraded and did a degree in fine arts.
In fine arts.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the first one is called a diploma,
Mhm.
which takes 2 years, and then eventually I had to upgrade for 3 years more
Mm.
to have a how do they call it, bachelor's
Bachelor's.
in art.
Cool.
Yeah.
So just for people who don't know, where exactly did you grow up in?
I grew up in Uganda.
Uganda.
Yeah.
And then when did you come to Korea?
I came to Korea in late 2006.
2006. That's
That was-
over
yeah,
7
that-
years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Coming
Yeah.
to 7 years.
Do you remember your first time when you came to Korea? What it was like? Because I mean, it's obviously such a huge contrast. It's so different from life back home. When
That's
you
right.
come here and you're just like overwhelmed, and after even 1 year, 2 years, you're just like, yeah, I know everything. It's kind of regular. But
Yeah.
do you remember your first year? What it was like?
Wow.
Let's go way back.
Yeah. So like I go to Incheon Airport and
Okay.
it was like
That's perfect sense.
I was in this very like light jacket. It was winter actually.
Oh my
Yeah, it
goodness.
was the 17th of December.
Oh my
I
god.
remember. So I get to Incheon Airport and I'm in this very light jacket. I don't know what's gonna happen,
Yeah.
and it had really snowed. There was a lot of snow that day.
Mm.
So I got out, and oh my god, it was really cold. This is something I'd never experienced in my life.
And it was probably the first time you've seen snow. Too,
Exactly.
right?
It was
Okay.
the first time to like see snow, like touch snow.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was a great experience. So I had to just hop into a taxi,
Okay.
and I'm like, okay, take me to Itaewon.
From the Incheon Airport.
From Incheon Airport to
Okay.
Itaewon. So I got
Wow.
into like the black taxis and. Whew,
Yeah, even more than
now
black
it's-
taxi.
It was like so I was looking at this very white place, the place filled with white everywhere.
Yeah.
Wow, it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, when you were living in Uganda, I mean, how was the music influence where you grew up there? Because I mean, now that's what people kind of know you for here.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, how has that influence helped you with what you're doing here?
Well, I should say Africa is so musical.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so
Most of
musical.
our influences and roots come from Africa itself.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So growing up, it's like I grew up in a Christian family, so I meant you have to go to school. To go to church every Sunday. There's no Sunday I didn't go to church, except when I was sick. Okay, so it's like we had to be there and sing Sunday school. Now Sunday school was all about singing, just like kindergarten, kids Sunday school. So like there's lots of activities, drama, music, and
the good drama, right?
Yeah.
Not the bad drama.
The good drama, like acting,
Yeah.
Bible stories, stuff like that. So yeah, I was so much involved in the singing thing. Like from the time I started like understanding what was going on, like at the age of 5, I was just into it. Like growing up, my mom being the choir director at the church, I was like, okay, could see people in our house singing, and I'm seated on her lap while she's directing the choir.
Cool.
Yeah, so like, the music started growing. So it's like when I got to like 5 years old, I was like leading the choir, the kids choir. I was singing these songs, and I listening to radios, I could sing each and every song. Yeah, so it was basically inborn talent.
What was it? Yeah, it sounds like you were basically born literally into it.
Yeah, I was born into
it. Your mom just made you sit on her lap, and you're watching from her view how everything goes.
Exactly.
So since then, she trained you from the beginning. You knew what to do.
Because I should say, no one ever told me that this is how tenor is sung, this is how alto is sung, and this is how soprano and bass sound like. It was like, whenever I was told that, okay, sing bass, I was like, I didn't have a bass voice, but I could go through, I could mimic.
Yeah.
And it was like really right there.
Right on.
Yeah. So it was good. So it has grown in me, changing to different genres, up to currently singing reggae. Yeah, it's been like so easy for me.
Cool. So I mean, how did you get from your home all the way to Korea? Like, what was that point that made you decide I'm gonna come to Korea?
Yeah, being an art teacher in Uganda, high school art teacher, I went through lots of experiences. I was actually doing lots of things. As I was an art teacher, and I was an artist, a painter. At the same time, a musician. Okay, doing music. So eventually, so many things were not working out. So I have an aunt in Korea. She's lived here for like coming to 15 years.
Okay.
Yeah, and she runs a company with a few cousins here in Korea. Some of them have gone back. So eventually, it was that point in time when I was like, okay, I need to travel. I had traveled to different countries, but I was like, okay, I need a holiday, because I had spent like 3 years without leaving the country. Then I'm like, okay, I should go to Korea, because they kept on asking me, come and check on us, come and see us. Okay, then I was like, okay, fine. I waited for the summer vacation. Now, summer vacation is usually December. Yeah, in Uganda. So,
which makes sense. You're going there in the snow time, just like vacation.
It's really hot. It's hot in Uganda in December.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a tropical country. Yeah, that lies on the equator. So eventually, it's hot. So, yeah, I had to get a trip to Korea for a visit.
Okay.
And coming to Korea was a different thing, and I was like, okay, fine. Now, after 1 month, I was like, okay, is it time to go back home? And then my cousins had to convince me, can you stay here a little longer? We can change your visa.
Why did they want you to stay here longer?
They liked me.
Okay, that's a good answer.
They liked me. They liked the fact that, it changed the atmosphere being with them.
That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah, being with them. I was musical. I used to be. I'm a little talkative at times. Yeah, I'm a two-way guy.
Okay.
There are times I'm really laid back, and there are times when I'm like, just say anything.
Sure.
You know, like, I don't know. So yeah, I had to live longer in Korea. Amazing. So I started working with them at the company. Yeah, it's a trade company. Yeah, for all the years until I was like, okay, it's time to start doing my thing now, my music. And I thought I would do art in Korea. Yeah, but going around galleries and exhibitions, I looked at things differently. Okay, things were different. Things that I saw, the pieces that I saw were really different, and I was like, okay, can really my art appeal to these people? Because I was majoring in African art. Yeah, and I did a lot of realism in Africa. The landscapes, the activities, you know, was all African. And I think at that time, I think Korea was not open to anything African. Yeah, so I was like, okay, I give up.
That's exactly how I had the same experience when I was in Korea too. For my first year, I was like, I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna fucking show my art, I'm gonna change the world. And then I went to so many places and just like, yeah, come back next time. So it was like, oh, okay. And then I was like kind of depressed. It was like, it's something, you know, you went to school for, you majored in, you do it, and then it's one of the hardest things, you know, where people kind of don't accept it because you put your heart and soul into it, and then people don't like it. You're just like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So when you came after and after that moment, I mean, what was the music scene like? Where did you? Because I remember way back we went to like Ireland Yuki's. Remember Ireland Yuki's, and you were doing performances there and stuff. And there's still a good hip hop crowd. I think you're one of the only guys to do reggae here. But the first time when you came here and you started getting more into the music scene, what was that like?
Wow. Okay. The music part was something really unthinkable. Something I didn't think about. I knew Korea was on the international standards in terms of music, because basing on what I used to see on MTV, yeah, they had really good production, good videos. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll live in Korea, and all I will do is record songs for the future, because they have good studios and and everything, good production. It's on international standards. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll make some money and then make songs here, and then I don't know, maybe when I go back home, that's where I will start, you know, releasing.
Bring the fire.
Exactly. Then, okay, truly at that time, now I'm talking about 2007.
Yeah.
I think there was nothing going on. Apart from going to some places, seeing people with guitars and, you know, doing their thing, like no one is looking at them. They're performing, but no one looks at them. They just, you know, that kind of thing. There was nothing like a real artist that I had at that time, like expat. I'm talking about expat community. Yeah. So yeah, then eventually things started getting better in 2008. When I saw Brian Alward actually at
a comedy show or something?
It was now this was not a comedy show, but it was a function by the Brothers and Sisters of Korea. You know that the group, the black people, black people group, and they had functions. Now this event was called Speakeasy at the former reggae pub, and you know that's where you go to see like black people coming together, you know, but most of them were from America. So yeah, we were sitting there like seeing these people doing poems, you know, a bit of skits and a little bit of music, freestyle, you know, just easy stuff.
Okay.
And then this white guy shows up. Boom. All right.
Yeah.
And he's out there like, you know, coming up with jokes.
Yeah.
Wow. I was like, okay, that is something different. that is funny, and let people laugh, then people happy.
Yeah.
And then eventually, as we still went on, and then I saw Sunny and James.
Oh, okay.
They came up and did a set of they did 3 songs, hip hop.
Okay.
I was like, okay, so now I get to see a comedian, and then I'm seeing these guys who are going hard with this stuff. So it must be there's something happening somewhere. I was like, easy. Yeah. Then at the time I was now getting contacts and getting to know a few people who were into this thing. So through a friend I met Roger. Yeah, Roger 11. He had a studio, a small studio in the house. So as we were
That's
working,
where it all starts too, right? Always in the house.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, he had a few equipments, and we laid down a few songs, because I was talking about doing an album with him, because I had written lots of songs. So yeah, we started working on this music, and then I had met people like Jeremy Ronda.
Yeah.
You know, like as you go out, you just go out to a bar and you meet this guy, and he just talks about life, talks about these experiences in Korea, how hard it is.
Yeah.
But it's okay to be around. And then he one time invited us. That's Jeremy. Invited us to do. Now that was, I think, the happening place where people could perform as hip hop artists. Yeah. So Jeremy called us. That was 2008. He called us to come and do something like a freestyle session. So Roger and I had to go. And then we met. I met Sunny again. Alright, and James. And then a few other guys had come to do their stuff. And that's how things started, I should say.
So, what was the first time experience when you first performed your music in front of an audience? Because, you know, it's I think it might be a little bit different when, you know, you're playing a cover or something like that. But when you have your own music and you're showing it to people and stuff, it's a little bit maybe more exciting, more different, and you're kind of always a little bit expecting what their reaction is going to be like, you know. So, I mean, do you remember your first time experience?
Literally, I don't remember the first time I performed on stage, because this started way back, like real performances.
Yeah.
I was leading a children's choir, like I said before.
Right, yeah.
And I used to, you know, like we used to go to parties, weddings, and did this whole thing. So, and the crowd was just amazed at the fact that I could lead the way, and the voice sounded so good. You know, I had all these compliments coming to me.
Cool.
Yeah, and then growing up, I got into hip hop in middle school. I started, you know, that's middle school. That was around 1993. Yeah, my first year of middle school. That's when the likes of Snoop Dogg.
Oh, Snoop Dogg,
came out. Dr. Dre, Nate Dogg, and that group. So yeah, I got into hip hop. We started the battles with my folks, and yeah, it was really good. And then it was high school when I formed a group. It was my brother and I. He's now a producer. I think that was now when I started recognizing that, okay, now it's time to do serious music. Yeah, to get into the serious music, the serious business of music. Trying to do my best to be like the rest of the artists out there.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry to stop you. Let's just take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back, okay? Cool.